I think I'm on. Can you guys hear and see me now? All right, everybody. It looks like hopefully you can hear me and see me. Okay, thanks, Pebs. Welcome to the channel. I see Pebs is here, Sharon Freeman, Road King, JP56 is on there, Kim, Noreen, Tracy, G. Louise, Beth. I think we have enough people to start. So uh, I spent Miyagi. Welcome, uh, Britta, John Cook. How you doing, John? I know it's you. All right, let's get started. And I spent the week looking at a few different channels, and I thought I'd put one up there, kind of what's expected from between subscribers and the creator of the channels, and uh, our chat itself. Uh, I know a while back I've given advice different times about when you get into a ruckus on the chat, the best thing to do is defend yourself once and walk away. And it seems like for the most part that's working. I see you there, Lisa. Uh, it's I'd like to reiterate that it does work pretty good, and I hope it's been working out for those of you that have kind of suffered what I call getting butt hurt because in the heat of the arguments, people say and do things that they don't really mean or they haven't had a chance to think about. And so the reason I say to walk away for a while, it gives you a chance to rethink: is it really worth uh, fighting over something that's said into in a chat itself? And each of us, we go to different channels uh, because we want to be entertained, or because there's something there we want to learn about, or maybe it's just nothing more than respect for the person that's running the channel. And one of the things that obviously you guys know, I've been pretty involved with defending. We're trying to defend John and Michelle and their little daughter out there, and I've spent most of my time just working towards that end. And along the way, as things progress, the channels they have different avenues of how they conduct themselves, and some of it has affected channel to channel because most of us had something in common, and it's called defending against Mr. Hales. And we all know that, uh, in that case there, it's something that we all believe in. And sometimes in the chats, we have a different opinion on whether it's how to do that, or somebody will come in and stir the pot. And one of my channels was I felt that we had a benefactor out there that likes to stir the pot. And I haven't changed my mind as far as how I feel about that particular portion. But I will tell you this: I think that almost everybody out there has learned how to defend themselves of things like that. Uh, I know that David R. has went to just most of the channels and give out gifts, and accepting those gifts is not a big deal. I think anybody that's been given a gift should accept it with open arms. They say always beware of the uh, beware of the gift giver to a certain extent. And as long as you're aware of what if there's a string or not, and in this case, the string, even if it's created by a gifter, it's up to you whether you want to let that string get a hold of you or not. And so you can use your head and say, thank you for the gift, and don't let it bother uh, should you get scrutinized by others who haven't gotten a gift. Okay. What I'm saying is don't be jealous of somebody that's getting it. And I watched, and this is as honest as I can get right now. Okay. I watched Guapo the other day, and I was worried whether he could control his channel or not because I thought that he might be getting overwhelmed with the gifts, and maybe his good sense wouldn't prevail. But what I seen in the chat was that as it progressed, and Guapo was watching his chat at this time. He looked at it, said, and he controlled it at that point, and so did his mods. And I didn't see anywhere near the fighting in there that I've seen in the past. And in fact, he didn't always follow everything that David R. was saying. In other words, I think Guapo is doing things that's best for him and his channel. And there's no disrespect to his people that are following him. He makes it quite clear that anybody that doesn't like the way he's doing things is free to go somewhere else. And I said things similar to that all along. And I would not dispute that fact at all. And the biggest thing I worry about is we have friends on all the channels, whether it's Lisa's channel, Robbie's channel, Guapo's, mine. Super Dave out there had held a special place in all our hearts for all this time. And when we get on here and we give our opinions, and we've all, up until the point of the gifter coming on here, we had all been kind of in tune with each other. And I'd like to see that thing back. So rather than let something like that separate you, what I'd like you to do is take it for what it is. You know, they say don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, I'm telling you, you don't have to look a gift horse in the mouth. A gift is a gift. And if you treat it just as such, I think you'll be a lot happier. And one of the things that happened here and that brought this to light, and it was the main reason I decided to talk about this today. I used to have somebody come on my channel, and her name was Tisa. And I think she has a big heart and a good person, and that whole works. And I know somewhere along the line, I probably upset her, and it's probably over this, how I feel about David R. But hopefully she'll understand that's the way I feel about it. And that doesn't take away from any channel on here, okay? Because we all have our own reasons for looking at other channels. And I think we all agree that freedom of speech is ours and opinion is ours. And we live in this wonderful country that gave us these freedoms, and we should appreciate them. And there's nothing wrong with using them. I hope all of you can go along with something like that. And that not too long ago, when I had been on here and I'd went over specifically how I felt about David R. I don't know if it cost me any subs on here. I just noticed that I was missing one that I thought a lot of. It makes you wonder, are we so willing to give up somebody we thought a lot of over a misstatement, or because there's an opinion we can't get together on? You know, it's like fighting over politics. All of us should have our own mind, and my policy is that declaring yourself, whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent, sometimes it gets you a lot of enemies. And a long time ago, I had learned that the best way to make half the people hate you is to talk about politics and declare one. And with me, I'm so independent that let's say I was going to follow the Republican Party 100%, I'd be foolish to do that. Because there's people in that party that are good, and there's people in there that are stinkers. And it's the same way in the Democratic Party and in the Independent Party. I like to see a mix so that it's equal. The good Lord put us all down here, and we're different from each other. And the idea of accepting each other, it's in the Bible. This is that he doesn't want us to judge each other to the point where we hate. If there's judgment coming where it's that important, I think the Lord will do it for us, and we'll pay for it. I give an existence. I have COPD, and I smoked, and I know the Lord didn't want me to smoke, and I'm paying for it dearly in my old age because I have a hard time breathing. And I was warned about it way back. The first diagnosis was in 1987, and it was too late to salvage my lungs. And I give up smoking at that time, and so did my wife. And thankfully so, because I'd have been gone a long time ago. But everything the doctor said back then came true today. But in that case, I could have blamed the manufacturers of the cigarettes or somebody else, but it wasn't. It was my own doing. And, I followed through on changing things as much as I could. My whole life has been a matter of making decisions and trying to stick by them as much as I can. But on the internet, especially in this last year, I have been taught so much. I came on here by accident, getting involved with this scenario that's going on, and my heart has always been for the person, the underdog in the fight. It always has been, and I guess it's because I hate to see people hurt. I don't like to see people cry. I don't like people that beat on other people just for the fact of doing it. That's why I got into this thing. And I happen to see some channels out there that were fighting for the same causes. And that happened to be uh, Super Dave was one of them. He had invited me on his channel to talk with him about how my views were. And they were mixed views at the time, by the way, when I went on Super Dave. And if you go back and look at it, you'll see how much things can change over a matter of 4 or 5 or 6 months or even 8 months. And I would hope you do the same things, that the things you learn, whether it's on here or on each one of our channels, that it actually enhances your ability to think through stuff, that you don't just follow somebody blindly. Now, on Lisa's channel, what I found was people with big hearts. And it was a very small channel, and it is growing to a certain extent. I'd like to see it grow faster because I think there's room for people that are like her and her channel. And they're not afraid to speak their mind. They come up here, they say something, and the mods are pretty well know how to handle what's out there. And some of the same mods are here on my channel, and I really appreciate all of you being here and doing this stuff. The fights that I get in aren't really fights. When I get butthurt, if you will, I just go back and I can sulk in my garage here if I want to, and think about it a little bit, and then maybe come back and put something on here to whether it's getting them back in good graces with somebody or trying to think through or walking in their shoes. And each channel out there has given me a gift of some kind. Okay. Now, Robbie's gift, I'm telling you, hands down, I love it when he's out there, whether he's catching alligators or his improving his property. I mean, that's great. He's got a sanctuary. His heart is in his work, and it's his hobby. And he'll be happy for his whole life doing just that, I think. And it makes me happy to see things like that. And also somebody's got the kind of heart that he does. Somebody that can interact with animals and reptiles that way. They do the same thing with people. How you treat an animal is how you treat people. You may not realize it, but that's the way it is. What I learned from Lisa was she's very adept at what she does. She's intelligent. She's very upfront with what she's going to do. She carries through. She brings proof with everything she says. So I rely on it. I know that she speaks the truth. I think her husband is great. I think he's got a good sense of humor, and he's willing to help her out. He's a true partner, and that's what a marriage is, by the way. And I love Tori. I think I call her a tiger, and she truly is. That she's she can do a lot of things at the same time and not lose step in any of them. She's really a great gal on there. Guapo, when you go on there, and let me tell you something. This is only perspective from me. You don't have to follow what I think. But I see a breath of fresh air because he's young. He's trying his feet at everything. He is grasping it, and he has a business head on his shoulders. This is a guy that if he was bankrupt tomorrow, he would still be a millionaire in the coming years. And the reason is he has got a good business sense. He knows when to move ahead. He's very cautious about that. Now, with his youth, is he going to make some mistakes? Probably. We all do as we grow. Will you learn from him? Well, from what I see in his channel, I think he does. If he has a Hercules heel, the only thing I can see is he loves to give. And when he has the opportunity to do it, he is going to do it. And so he brings everybody on board for it. And he makes all of you feel special when he talks to you or gives his gifts away. You look at Darwin. I think Darwin's great. He uses his experience. I realize I think there's 15 years difference between us, or close to that. But he sits back and he gives you his view on things. And just like everybody else, he has a little different view on some things, and other things we're 100% together. And I love that. One of my friends out there that I really enjoy, I like to look at Miyagi's channel. She's very upfront with what she's saying. I think she's very honest in how she presents it. Her feelings are on her sleeve, and the stuff that she's put together, I love it. I think it's entertaining, and I would recommend her any day of the week. All of us have reasons to get mad at each other for one thing or another. We just do. On the other hand, we have something, it's a gift from our Lord, and it's called forgiveness. So if we get mad at somebody, before we go flying off the hand, just do me a favor. I've got this whole thing, and I tell you, take 3 deep breaths and let them off slow. And then rethink it. I do that all the time, and it helps. You're never too old. I say too old to learn. I put myself in that as if I'm selfish to myself. And I don't mean to be that way when I say I, because I go back through all the life of experience and the fact that I want to share some of it with you guys so that when you get to a certain stage, you can enjoy life. If we hate, we can't sleep at night. If we hate, we can't even get a sentence out without getting very upset. If we get upset for the right reasons, that's not so bad. It's letting off steam. We're a steam pot. We're like a pressure cooker, and there's a little balancer on top that lets the steam off so it doesn't blow up. And sometimes it's done with swearing. And you know that I don't particularly care to be swearing, although there's times where I have. I know that swearing, they've proven that your health itself, it's a way of relieving that pressure that's built up inside of you. Every once in a while, somebody's going to let a word out, or some. And it doesn't have to be a 4-letter word. So you have to live with it. Don't judge everybody by the things that are said in the heat of the moment. And, here within the last month, we had this big row on a live, and I had been talking about David the benefactor. I call him Benny. I call him different names. And I try to make sure you guys know that it's my opinion and it doesn't have to be yours. And when I see strife in a channel and I call it out, it's not my business to go on your channel and do that. And I hopefully I don't. And you can hold me on my words and say, Ray, I think you're all wet. And that's fine. I don't want to drive you away from anybody's channel just because of how I feel about it. I've been wrong numerous times in my life, and I enjoy the things that are out there. And I wouldn't want to put a barrier in front of your life to not enjoy those things. And if I go out there and I get after so mad at somebody that I want to nail them, but then I put a barrier up, and that wouldn't be fair to you or me or the person that I'm trying to stop you from being around. This little deal that happened with Guapo's channel, mine, and Super Dave, it was a 1 day thing. It was very quickly over, and I've left messages in each channel, and we're on a speaking basis. We're not adversaries in any way, and I don't want any of you guys to get wrapped up into something like that, whether it's on my channel or somebody else's channel. Now, I've looked at the channels, and not Super Dave, but David R has been on uh, multiple channels out there, and he hasn't come back to Lisa's, and I'm not sure why. I don't know why he holds Lisa to in such a way. And I guess when I think about it, it goes against my grain, and I guess maybe that's probably a little bit why I'm so much against David R. But on the other hand, if you guys accept a gift from David, that's fine. I have nothing bad to say about you receiving a gift. I don't want you to think that I'm a jerk for thinking that you shouldn't accept it. My biggest thing was a friend. If I have a friend, they're a friend regardless of the monetary things it might bring with it or take away. And my stand in this fight, trying to help with helping Michelle and John, is that, quite frankly, I've lost over 4,000 subs to that fight. If I was monetized, it would probably hurt my pocket if I depended on it. And I don't know. I guess it hurts a little bit to the fact that there were so many people out there that hate my stance or my opinion so bad that they would say goodbye. Quite frankly, in my channel over the 10 years I've had it, until I got into this thing, I had almost 100% likes on anything that I put up there. It's kind of it's a subject you choose that makes that difference. So, if I say something out there that takes you down the wrong path, let me know about it, because I'll certainly try to help you out if I can and try to see it from a better stance. There are things worth fighting for. And my friend, as far as I'm concerned, Lisa is my friend. Robbie is my friend on here. Miyagi is my friend on here. I have no problem with that. Guapo, as far as I'm concerned, is a friend because I appreciate his youthfulness. He's straightforward, and this business head he's got. Super Dave, I think he's a friend. I think that Super Dave wears his heart on his sleeve, and he gets hurt very quickly. And his response to my channel that day was he was hurt because he felt that I was scrutinizing him. And he went to another channel and expressed his views. He didn't bring it back to me. But what I want to tell you guys is that if I hurt you in some way in what I've said to you, please bring it to me so we can straighten it out. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to sit down to supper together. None of that. My channel is strictly for a benefit for us both. Mine for being able to talk on here, and yours for maybe you can pick up some wisdom, even though it might be outdated, okay? And you can bring me up to date for modern times. When I was a kid, I loved people that had some age on because that's where our stories come from. I didn't have TV till I was in junior high. We didn't have a radio when I was real young, and we finally got one. And I built my first two radios. I, you know, it's a world where we have to do the things that keep us happy, and that's this thing here. It makes me happy. The people that I've learned out there, Road King, I forgot to mention him. I think of him as a friend because I love his channel and the things that he says in it. Uh, it's almost like we went to school together because I can sit back and hear the things that I heard when I was young. It's a wonderful feeling when you can walk back in time and feel good, even though the times we're in may be stressful to a certain extent. And we make our own stress, by the way. Okay, well, I hope my lecture goes over. And like I say, if you see Tisa, tell her I'm very sorry. I don't know what I've done to her. I really feel that she had a good heart, and it's probably because of this deal with whatever happened between Guapo and Super Dave and myself. But as far as the three of us, I don't think we have any bad things to say about each other. Our opinions are not one and the same, and they shouldn't be. None of us should say, my opinion is 100% yours. Uh, the Lord separated humanity at the Tower of Babel for good reason. And maybe he made us all different for good reason. So there's nothing wrong with being different. We just all have to learn how to be together. Just like the gears in the transmission, each one is different from the other, but they all have a specific job, and the transmission don't work unless they're all present. That's the way it is with humanity and us as well. Okay. And by the way, that's more like a parable, so it can work on anything. All right. Now I'm going to go to the chat, and we'll see what kind of what we can pick up and talk about. All right. What I'll do is so I can read it, I have to stop it for myself. It'll keep on rolling for you guys. It says, here's the best way to put it. There are lawsuits everywhere. This was done because it is going to be part of something else. They are not getting away with it. That was Lisa. Peb said, poking our minds out. Strictly said, I want to apologize to everyone for bringing drama into Robbie's live last night. It was completely accidental. I was having a text conversation with my daughter at the same time. See, what happens sometimes, somebody can say something and it gets taken out of context. So it's up to us to bring it back into focus. That's all. Not a big deal. Why are you all invading my corner, Maggie? My Aggie. Sniffles. Okay. Strictly, you are goody. No worries. That was from Lisa. Road King, umbrella. What are you talking about? My Aggie said, sorry, Sniffs. Two Lees, she retracted what was going in there. I'm not sure what it was. It was a boomer move. Fine here, Pebs. Popcorn. Okay. Then Peb said, LOL. Two Lees in a pod. You didn't, though. Okay. If I ever ended up in a situation like John and Michelle, I could only pray I had two Lees, Ray, Guapo, and a lot of others standing by my side. Thanks, Linda. All this group out here has been such a good group. I can't thank all of you enough for the things that you've done and said. And it's more like a family, and families fight. We just have to learn how to get past the butt hurt. That's all. That's all. Stricker says, thank you, Lisa. I had just gotten there and was exhausted from driving. Noreen says, sometimes you get a lemon. Yep. And you got to make lemonade out of it. We have to stick together against a common enemy. We are there for different reasons, but a common enemy. Thank you, Catherine. Bruce said, I'm new, but I can tell that appreciate all these wonderful people channels. You are all the good ones in this. Thank you, Ruth. That's very good statement, I think. Bearded Fisherman. Bearded, I forgot to say, I love it when you come in. I love your sense of humor. You are a miracle man. And if people that know your story know the miracles that have been performed for you and by you. So there you go. Says, what's going on, Ray? How's everything going? Have a nice weekend. Peace from the Northeast, the Bearded Fisherman. Say a prayer for my brother Tom. All right. Everybody, if you get a chance, say a prayer for Tom, who is Bearded Fisherman's brother. To Lee says, I went back and saw what happened. I'm not sure what that's all about, Lisa, but if it's says Darwin said hi, all still turning to be a mole. Darwin, are you our mole? Yeah, there's been so many people worried about a mole, and that's when people put that out on channels. It's done more for the statement of saying you can't trust anybody. But if you can't trust anybody, how's anybody going to trust you? So we got to treat our life as if not only is it our last day because it can be, but because we should be on our best behavior if we can be. Uh, It's hard to think of going through life worrying about something that we don't know about. And if we have a mole out there, who cares? I mean, what I do or say on here, they're welcome to broadcast it. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to do something that I feel bad about lately or later. The good Lord judges me as I go, and believe me, before I go to sleep at night, I've got a prayer asking for forgiveness. I guarantee you, I ask. We all have different opinions, yet we need to respect other people's opinions. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? It should be, Linda. Let's see. Two Lee says, I restated it, Ray. Okay. There are a lot of passionate people here. That's what Lisa has said. And I believe that. I really believe that. Mo Magic. John's put in a lot of work. Personal and labor wise, he deserves his dream. Yes. I wholeheartedly believe in that. John is a hard worker. By the way, that police officer said as much in his statement. You remember last week when I talked about it? He said John was sweating and stretching, that he believed John and what he was talking about. That says a lot as far as I'm concerned. And whenever you hear about John on that property, he's doing something. So I would say that he keeps himself busy, wouldn't you? Let's see, Linda. Yes, we have different opinions, but I do not have to respect it. Oh, let's see. Well, it's not necessarily respecting the opinion, Pebs, but the person itself and the right to have that opinion. Like I say, we don't all want to be on the same page. It get pretty boring out there. Let's see. Darwin says he made a bad mole. Everybody should see Doc's yard. He has moles. When you're living out in the country, you're going to have them. Frank, hello, Road King. Linda said, Pebs, you are right. Miyagi, IMAO, Road King. JP, we play whack-a-mole every weekend. The germ story keeps my mind off of other things. Well, yeah, and I understand sometimes when we think about the germ story, we have to be very careful that it doesn't guide our life for us. Um, eh, there's been a lot of times I wish I hadn't have seen it because it does cause a certain amount of anguish. Uh, but I got to say something. When his son came on there and talked, it was not only was it a tearjerker, but it was an eye opener as well. And I felt extremely sorry for that young man, and probably for the rest of his family for what they've went through and what they're going through. And when I seen that list of court obligations that the family had to go through with their father or husband, it was extensive and long and ongoing and still going. That's an awful way to spend your life. And for a child, for them to that's the only life they know, what future do they have? So that, again, this is my opinion, and you don't have to follow through on my thoughts. It's just an opinion. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this thing going. I brought this to a halt so I can talk things. That's why it may not be running real fast here. Strictly says, God bless you, Ray, for bringing levity to all this. Sharon says, RK, is it moles or voles? Voles. Those voles are real little. I think they're the ones with kind of like a little pointed nose, aren't they? Let's see. Sylvia said, hi, Ray. Well, hi, Sylvia. Mo Magic said, yep. Moles. Sharon, let's see. Let me see if I can catch this before I made a mistake here. They're all over his yard. Let's see. Pev said, laugh out loud. Catherine, respecting another's opinion is just accepting what they think. Differently from you, very simple. I agree to disagree. I go along with that part. Uh, I know there's been quite a few on here that we've agreed to disagree and went on with their life. We didn't hammer each other for our beliefs. Let's see. Catherine, respecting another opinion is just accepting. Oh, yeah, I read that just now. Tell them to put Vicks salve on a cotton ball and stuff it down the holes. I don't know if that works with moles or not. There are quite a few. Not sure what that word is, Lisa. That state germ credited those scenarios. Oh, okay. I got you. I know what you mean. Okay. Yeah, that divorce was what Lisa's saying there. They were filed pretty much because of Jeremy on his that he has actually done it. When you see people being treated a certain way by someone like him, it is heartbreaking. When you see his son talk, it'll make you cry. It would be hard, and I'm glad we don't see that all the time in places because it makes you feel bad for a long time. And the fact that you can't reach out and give him a hug because it's on here, and you really just don't know. It keeps you in limbo for a long time, wondering if he's going to survive all this. He's already said how bad he felt once, and for some reason, Jeremy blamed everybody else for his son coming around there, as if they asked him to, and he did it on his own. Nobody asked him to come on there. And matter of fact, people really, with the exception of maybe one person out there, treated him with kid gloves. Uh, and what I seen that was a heartbreaker worse than anything is the people that were following Jeremy attacked him, and the people in these channels didn't. They felt bad and they backed off, and they tried to keep away from having him in the subject line, but not so much on the people who follow Jeremy's channel. That's my opinion, of course. If I don't put that in there once in a while, it's more fodder for the judge. You know, what a let's see. And Lisa said in hearing part of that Guapo video has on it. Yeah, when I heard, I was there when Guapo played part of a telephone conversation, and it was a tearjerker. And for anybody that has a love of children, it really brings it home. The things that we would think as off limits for talking, it's like the end of the line. I just don't have words for it, and I'm afraid those type of subjects are not good for the heart or soul, either one. And when somebody takes advantage of other people's trust to the extent that that phone call shows, that's really a bad deal. And it's one of those things that I hope when it's brought to light that charges will be made, that it won't be just sitting there and lie encased in mud. Okay. Let's see. It says here, I appreciate this community and the care of others it displays. I think most people in here are everyday good people just looking to support one another. When John gave Michelle a hug, yeah, when, that shows the compassion that the two had. They looked at each other in a time of need when the stress was overwhelming. Can you imagine going through this stuff on a daily basis? Uh, I'm surprised more people haven't jumped in to help and form a bigger and thicker barrier around that family. Uh, I can tell you in the last month, the attacks on my channel have at least doubled. And, contrary to what I initially wanted to do, I have removed people from here so that they can't come back and be seen. And the pile that I've got, that I've taken off from here is, I never thought I would have to remove those people like that, but it, I did. Let's see. It says here, what makes me irritated is how Germany calls people names and then calls himself a Christian. It does not look good for him where God is concerned, but it's between them now. That's true, Ruth. It is true. Yeah, Current said it was Slug who was, no, I don't. That guy, he's not worth my time talking about. Let's see. Yeah, you're right, Current. He did cause a lot of problems on both sides. The big thing, somebody like that turned out to be a quite frankly, he was a coward that had a bully content about him. He had a dirty potty mouth. He was like a 6-year-old that just learned how to swear and couldn't control his bodily functions, still walking around in diapers. So that's what I think of him. And I guess I didn't need to say more about him. Watching Martha and Jerm lie and state cruel, mean, and vindictive things is sickening. It's getting worse, isn't it? It's getting a lot worse. Smile for the screenshot and timestamps, everyone. Yeah, I'm afraid that my lives will probably be famous. I don't know how many judges are going to have time to look through all this stuff, but I guess they'll try. People do need to know to protect themselves and their children. I think you have to be cautious, very cautious. Barry says, I'm telling you, it goes back and forth and here and there and all different people, all this S. Oh, my goodness. Hope all's well. Agreed to disagree. Maggie says they think that screenshotting our opinions means something. It shows their intelligence. I am so sad that so many people believe his lies. What he does is he tells the same thing over and over and over, getting to the people. And that's why they take the resemblance of truth even though they're not. It's because people hear them over and over. It's the magic of, let's say, TV. The most popular people are seen most often. And so when you ask who's your favorite band or who's your favorite singer or who's your favorite night person, whatever, on TV, the one you see the most, their name will come up in your mentally. Julie says, isn't the name calling you're doing exactly what you're blaming others of? So here you go. You got Julie in there letting us know how wrong we are. Julie, thank you for your insight. You're just a blessing out there waiting to be dismissed. I can see that. Oh. Let's see. Marla says, hello, my friends. Hello, Marla. Cinnamon says, with coffee mixed, sprinkling around moles, we used to have them. It helps with fleas and ticks. Cinnamon, huh? I've never heard of that. And Julie, what name calling and opinion is name calling? Oh my goodness. Let's see. No, it says, Julie, I hope you tell the germ that one. If Julie went to Germ and said that same statement, he would dismiss her immediately. She'd never get to make another statement on his channel. She doesn't know that yet because she's afraid to say anything in the channel. She will come to somebody else's and do it. Lori says, I've been watching YouTube creators for 20 years, and this community surrounding M&J is the most authentic group I've been a part of. Thank you, Lori. Beard says, when I lived in the woods, I put Pet Smart on my dogs, but I put it on myself too because so many ticks and bugs everywhere. I had to put that expensive stuff away. You're not supposed to either. Well, you were probably tick free then and flea free. Noreen says the property marker video part was loud and drama, lies detected. Yeah, I forgot about that. I did look at the video that he put up last night, I think it was, and he reiterated what he already had before, and he went over the same thing that I had on that. See, this isn't the one, I don't think. Yeah, no, it's the same one. Where Corporal McIntyre, and I think he called him Mac and Liar, and he has no respect for the police either out there. My opinion is that anybody that says one word the wrong way, he's going to try to take them apart. And boy, if I was him, I'd be a little careful because the sheriff's department. They're all over Levy County. One of these days, he may need their help, whether he breaks down on the road or somebody attacks him and needs somebody to protect him. These are the people that are there to help and protect, and he's attacking them. So I don't know. My advice to Mr. Hales is to back off in the police department or the sheriff's department. They're there to protect all of us and do it without discrimination. And I appreciated his report because I felt it was true to life. He put on there what he felt, and he did it like a regular investigator, as far as I'm concerned. So, but he didn't agree with Mr. Hales, and of course, he came out with that thing last night, and he was very, very upset about the way he was calling it out. So, let's see here. What we got? I'll say it again. I think YouTube should be held accountable for the escalation of all the nonsense. That was from Monica. Linda, welcome. I'm glad you saw the light. Frank, Linda flips from farm love, setting with dogs. JP, Linda, that show is great. They have big hearts and work miracles. Miyagi says she's agree with Monica. What we got here? Cindy says, keep up the good fight. I hope it's not. I hope we don't have that as really a fight, more as a protection mode for John and Michelle, if you will. Miyagi, Tony. Let's see. Please hit the like button. Oh, that was Pebs said that. Thank you, Pebs. Debbie says, hello, Ray, and everyone in the chat. Just my opinion, I think JH loves all the attention he's getting from all the channels. Just my opinion. Let's see. The attention he's getting from all the channels. Okay. He probably does because it's, what happened is that little skit that I put on about these uh, investigations. I'm not the only one that read this, by the way. Lisa was out there doing her thing on it, and then she'd brought up uh, Corporal McIntyre before uh, on her channel, and Lisa's been very unbiased in getting this stuff out. She says every word that's in there. She don't cut some stuff out. Jeremy did cut some stuff out on it that he was talking about on there the other night. He's very careful about not putting too many things in there that would put him in a bad light. He spun it, and we all kind of knew he would spin it to make him look better. So you just gotta like a grain of salt in there. Uh, Looks like Umbrella got their message taken away. Must have said something that was disparaging. Police have immunity against being sued in insurance if they do screw up. They do to a certain extent. If for some reason they break something in the Constitution of your civil rights, there are certain things they can't do. So keep in mind, it's not 100% that they can go out and do things that are against the law themselves. One thing they can do, though, they can lie to you while they're questioning you. So you got to be very careful about when they say, well, they've already got you on something. It could be very well be that they're just lying to you. So if you get questioned by a police officer, keep it in mind. Let's see. Road King posted 2 leads in a pot on there. Thank you, Road King. Yeah, they do. I think they do have insurance if they do screw up. At least the cities do that hire them. What gets me, like the other day when Jeremy was going over it and he blames uh, Lisa and John for all his problems, and yet we see very little of them out in the open. They have a hard time getting out there anymore, and they're very careful about their interactions. Uh, their life is monitored from the time they go outside until they go back in their uh, residence. So, and when they're out on the road, they're monitored by a lot of people. It's a shame that you have to go through life like that. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't. That's no way to live your life. JP says narcissists have unique characteristics that most do not understand or like. There's a lot of the characteristics, and when you start looking at them, it's very easy to check them. Boom, 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 boom. Take your list and look at it and measure it up against certain people, and you'll see how closely they match everything that's in the list. He is so disrespectful to George. If you listen to him, he does not like women. He has a problem with them, and he considers women in general subordinate to his wishes or whims. As far as I'm concerned, I seen him, believe it or not, be that way somewhat with Duana. When George was up north, and she was assisting him during his lives, he kind of treated her the same way. When people feel they're above you, they get snotty with you, and it's hard for them to hide that. It's despicable at the very least. All right, what we got here? Yeah, Lori says they can be arrested for criminal stuff, constitutional violations, but they do have immunity within doing their job, pretty much. It, they she's talking about police, by the way, other people. It's getting more and more nowadays where the police are looking at been looked at a lot closer, and it does happen when you have police department that starts going sour. They all kind of get that way. It gets to be an attitude. Can you imagine having a job where you have to spend your whole day looking for criminals? At the end of the day, in your view, if you're that person, everybody's a criminal, and it gets into you, your mind, and it's hard for those individuals that wear that uniform to go home and leave it at work. It's almost impossible for them to do that. Sometimes I think well, it's a form of PTSD, and it's too bad that more. Oh shoot, I don't know how to say it. More training isn't geared towards helping some of those individuals stay level. But if you walk in mud all day, you go home with mud on you. Okay, and that happens with whatever trade you in or what you're in, or the type of job you work. You can't help but take some of it home with you. It's kind of hard. I feel bad for people in the police department because after 20 or 30 years, you can think what their mindset is. When they look at everybody as a possible criminal, and that's actually what they're looking for, and they're looking for those offenses. And in today's world, there's nobody that can live without breaking a law. And if you think I'm wrong, uh, you would be wrong. There's if there's so many laws on the books that the average person cannot go shopping in a day without breaking some law by the time you get home. And it might be something like your car. You may forget to put the turn signal on or signal lane change, things like that. Not stopping behind the white line at a stop sign. All those things are breaking the law, and you have to think about it. Tony says, absolutely right. It does go home with you. Yep. Yeah, has cluttered all inside with toys and stuff, anxiety waiting. That the pictures I've seen of that place, up in Ohio, man, that could you live in that? I seen that and I'm thinking, oh man. I worked for a company one time, and my boss, and he was older than I was, quite a bit. And he walked in my office and he said, Ray, and I have this file over here, open file, or you put temporary letters in there, right? And I would take them and shift them from one area to another by priority. And I had a list down here, priority list. And he seen me take a piece of paper out, and I was looking at it, and I put it up a little higher. And he looked at me and he said, Ray, that piece of paper you had in your hands, why did you put it up there? And I said, well, I've got to go back and go over it later on because it's going to drive me to do something else. And he said, my policy for himself, he said, the way to keep organized is if you have it in your hand, take care of it then. Get it done. And then you don't have to handle it again because now you just put it up there. You got to read it again and do what you should have done a few minutes ago. That made sense. Well, the next time he come in my office, there was very few pieces in that open shelving or filing. I wanted him to understand. I had found my lesson. Now, that's not saying that I might have snuck a few in my top drawer at my desk, but for the most part, I learned a lesson. So life is that way too. If you handle things as they come up, you don't get pressured into last minute decisions. And that's what he was trying to get across to me. You let it pile up and you go over and over and over it, and you don't have time to do the correct thing. Okay, let's get back to this. Says George owns her own home in Ohio. I don't know about the other one. Yeah, I've seen the property, by the way, through uh, the piece of paper, the property, what it called out. It shows up in Ohio if you put her name in, by the way. Driving on the wrong side of the road to invade someone's privacy. He seems to think it's okay. I don't, and it's been noticed. So, uh, says Linda, oh, you were talking about Jerem. Thought you were talking about me. That's hi, Jared. I always enjoy reading your posts around the channel. Let's see. It's not a home if you're being abused. That's right. It's a horror chamber at that point. Little old me says, hello, Miyagi. Stacy said, hi, cat lady. Okay. Has anybody got some subjects they wanted to throw up here? Do you want me to reiterate on some or um, Cat Lady said, little Mia has been here a long time. She has changed her name because of harassment right now. Strictly, you okay, hon? Why the sad face? Yeah. Dan Foyle said, had to laugh when Germ tried to justify going 5 miles an hour past MP's house. I told you, he tries to spin things, and he he went through that and spun it the best he could. Didn't he? Oh. Pate says, hello, Ray. How you doing there, Pate? Oh, well, I think we've just about wound down. I really appreciate everybody coming in today. And I'm going to try to keep these up on Saturdays if I can. I'm trying to keep them so that they're not so long that you can't enjoy your weekends. And I hope you learned something or put the word out, help each other get over being hurt in the chats. It's going to happen. The main reason is because we have different opinions and we say things in the heat of the moment that we don't mean once we get to thinking about it later. So take a deep breath and before you unload on somebody, especially if it's a discouraging remark. And like I say, people are going to swear from time to time. It's the releasing of the steam on a pressure cooker. They said that there are times where it's good for your health. I do my very best not to make it a habit, and I try to unload on the Lord whenever I can, and not in a disparaging way or a cussing way. It's in the power of prayer will relieve the stress, and I think once you get into the habit of that, you'll learn it'll help you through life. Oh, let's see. Trying to think of anything else. I don't have a lot of wise peanuts to put out there. I thought about calling the channel of peanuts because of I don't know if you understand it, but peanuts is supposed to be little words of wisdom here and there, and they call them peanuts. So, let's see. One thing I forgot to mention, one of the biggest stirrer pots out there that has continually went after John and Michelle, and he's went after most of the rest of us that have stood up for him, and that is the DJ man out there, the peppermint puffball, if you will. I don't understand why he got into it in the first place, or why he continues. And he tries to stand up as if he's a real man, and we all know that real men don't act like he does, don't we? I think I understand why he left Australia and why he came here. He figured he can get away with bad habits and being a snot. But there again, it's my opinion. I don't think much of the guy, and I could care less what he thinks of me. So he's just one of those people. He's like a what the hell? He's just discrepable is all I can say. It's really too bad. If he does end up going back, which I doubt that he will, he's got too lazy a life here. He can do whatever the heck he wants and get away with it. That's why he sticks around. Says here, there's a former mayor of Otter Creek need a job. Why retire? Is you're broke? Maybe you should sell the RV if you're broke. Oh, did you see that where they were talking about maybe having to rely on their followers for some financial aid? And they accused us out here of having GoFund, illegally and doing all kinds of things. And they hoped we were registering and all that kind of stuff. Did you hear all that? They really have a lot of balls there trying to call us out when we have done no such thing as what they're accusing us of. And they throw us all in the same bag. I'm wondering if they can think for themselves. Man, what a group. When I look out at that, it makes your stomach kind of do flip-flops. And they get this look on their face as if the whole world has come down on them. Listen, if I was them, I'd worry more about the Lord. And they use the Lord in every segment they put up. If I was them, I'd be a little worried about using that crutch. They need to learn more about our Creator before they start using Him. And that I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Stacy. There is no GFM for anything, and what was raised in Two Leaves was all genuine gifts to help them. No one asked. It was a grassroots movement. Beautiful thing. I was in chat listening the night that all of a sudden people started talking about, well, let's do something. Let's get a fence built for them. Let's make it come to life, and it did. And a week later, it was a done thing, and financially, and plans were put out there. And a lot of people don't understand how much time it has taken Lisa out of her normal things that she does to coordinate that effort to get all this thing going. And sometimes it's a thankless job. And for the people that have attacked her over the job she did and is doing, is unconscionable. There's been a lot of people who have come on and told me what a fool I am to follow somebody that has a channel like that that's done so much wrong. And when I look at it, I say, what? What did they? I can see nothing that they have done wrong to date. And the fact that they have a big heart shows me that other people that talk about them, they're jealous. And maybe they're mad because they didn't think of doing something like that first to help out rather than tear apart. Uh, when I seen what they were doing, I knew then that the people that followed her on her channel, for the most part, were good people, and that there was nothing wrong with trying to bring this, you know, to the light of day, saying these people need it, they need help, and there's nothing wrong with you helping somebody. Uh, why step on somebody when when they're at their lowest moments in life? Why would we want to step on somebody like that? It don't make sense to me. There's so much uh, feeling when you help somebody out, and you see the light of the day for them. You see the smile on that little girl's face at Christmas. I mean, what better gift can you get than that? And when when you see the heartache that came from the video the other day, where uh, Michelle was hugged by John, after that visit from a deputy of new charges coming up, and they kept saying, at different times, all in the last year, that Jeremy is doing this or doing that, and the stress that is put on him, and you see what happens there. What you seen was real feelings. There wasn't a put on, people. It was a real deal. So I hope none of you give up on trying to help out, and that you don't try to, attack people, or just use your energy towards getting this thing so that it does happen, so that we can get back to our normal lives. One thing I will say too, if there's more stuff that Guapo has that come anywhere near like what we heard on the phone on his voice mail or voice interaction, if there's more like that on his phone, it will be an eye opener for everybody out there. And I don't know how many people, when they realize what happened or what's going to happen, will stick around. And I'm not talking about our people here that are helping John and Michelle, but I'm talking about people that have this battle with Jeremy. That phone call pretty much says it all. And you could tell that Guapo felt bad about everything that was on there, to the point that he hates to use stuff like that, because it goes against the grain of somebody for something like that to happen in the first place. And to think that how much trust can be misguided, it brings things to the light of day, saying, oh wow, I would have never believed it. You have to hear it, see it, be around it enough, and then all of a sudden you say, I can't get far enough away. So yeah, I remember when the first time I heard Harley say the ABCs, sing the ABCs. She don't just say them; she can sing them. So that she's quite the gal. The one that supposedly is so far behind and can't talk, and there's nothing behind about little Harley. Let's see. Stacy says, "Oh my God, the venom they spewed was nasty, but it says a lot about them by doing that." Bill says, "The voice of reason." Thank you, Bill. Looks like Taryn Renault. Okay. Yeah, Taryn, I agree with you. Radish is gross. How can somebody like that live with herself? I mean, the things he says, I would think it almost makes you think that he stinks. Ooh, how can a person be like that? Oh, did you? Oh, by the way, he did when he showed his inside of his car when he was at the meeting, town hall, or going to the town hall meeting that never came about. That car is full. That's weird. I'm wondering, is he back living in his car again? Let's see. Rue says that little Harley showed the world she's not behind. No, she's not. She's highly intelligent and she knows how to think for herself. Miss Lori, she says her friend's daughter hardly spoke until she was 4, and then it was in full sentences. And she said she had nothing to say until then. Laugh out loud. uh, Says listening to that phone call, all I can do is question why George is sitting next to Germ, condemning everyone else. It brings a lot to question. I can only suspect that that Jeremy has probably got control of her in a manner that maybe he's got something on her that if she leaves, he will show it. If you remember uh, how he uses his videos, when you go to a small town, one of the first things that happen is one of the town gossips is going to come over and talk to you in a small town. And this isn't saying that I agree with town gossips, but a lot of times in a small town, people don't have they'll say a lot of things that they take for granted is okay to say. Uh, and if you're new in town, they're bringing you up to speed. They're telling you all about different people, how they react and stuff. And in fact, that's pretty much what had happened when Jeremy got there. And I wonder how many people in that town did the same thing. In other words, they came and they gossiped with him, and how many were recorded. Because everybody there now has to think back. What did I say to him when he first moved in? And how's that going to be used? Because he actually says, and believe me, in my opinion, it is more of a vile being blackmailed to a certain extent. He says, and I have more recordings of them, and I will bring them to light or something to that extent. In other words, they're being warned if they don't behave themselves, what he's going to do, and he's going to release more things, which makes that person, whoever it was that was talking, they're going to go back and think about all the conversations they had. It is to me, is a way of controlling people. And you can do that through videos. And if you're new to town, people will open up to you. You wouldn't hardly believe that people will tell you their whole personal life, not knowing the person they're talking to, and they'll use it against them later on. If I had any advice for people in a small town, is kind of keep things to yourself until you know what the people are like that you're talking to. And the new guy in town might be like Jeremy, in my opinion, and might use those facts against you. And in fact, that's what's going to happen. And if you notice, he over and over and over, he said it's too late for them, no matter what they do, he is going to sue them. And he's going to sue the police department that didn't agree with him, or the sheriff's department. And he's going to sue this person and that person. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And, part of this thing, just to give you an example, I hope Super Dave can get back his channel going again. I think probably it probably worried him a little bit because, and I don't know if he got served yet or not, for this court thing, or what the status is in there. But the worry and stress that he's probably going through has kind of affected his channel, and hopefully he'll get back on his feet and realize that the channel belongs to him, and his opinions, they're no matter what, his core is there. He's not going to lose those core people, and if he comes back on, they're going to welcome him back in there. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, if he looks at everybody else out there, we've all had our ups and downs on here, especially when you think, boy, I'm getting hit with a big baseball bat or something. It, it's part of life, and if it happens, it happens. You have to just figure a way where you can get through it so that life goes on, and that's all I can say about that. Other than take a deep breath, what my favorite saying is, and let it out slowly until your mind catches up with your mouth, if it will. But you can get back on your feet and get going again. Uh, Cat Lady said, I'm so excited about winning a gem basket in Robbie's live last night. I have never won anything before. Wow. uh, let's see. Let me see if I can pull this back. Monica says on one of their videos, George said that people do not understand their dynamic. Apparently, that dynamic is Germ being disrespectful to her. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that stuff like that happens, but people that are in a relationship that is toxic get so used to it, kind of like this, they call it the Stockholm effect. Uh, they no longer really see it like it is, and people that are in a relationship that long seldom can get away from it. They'll go from a guy like that to another one that's just like that. Um, it can ruin their personality for life. They become that person um, for the wrong reasons. That, part of it is they may be scared of them, or something they've done have brought them into it, and then they become part of the evil part of that person, and it's something they probably never can get away from. I don't know. Luckily, I haven't had to be personally involved with anybody that was like that, but it happens. And when she got into that, it didn't. I'm sure it didn't take long before she realized what she was in. She just didn't get out when she should have, and that's her. That's on her. That's not on anybody around her. Lori said, "Did anyone see Germ Short?" I was laughing so hard. His tongue was lapping and his lips were so shiny. He was spitting mad. I did see that. one, of the, one of these days, he's going to bite his tongue off. He won't have that big tongue anymore. That's my opinion, of course. Yeah. It says here, he said if she leaves, he will sue her, and she agreed in text that she will stay until this court is over. But he keeps creating more cases. My opinion is that it's too late for her to get away. It's only going to end badly. And if you remember in Guapo's channel, he said that I think he talked about it. I don't know if it was one of the channels that said that he called all over. It might have been Robbie's, that he called all over to find out where she was working the last time that she left him, or that one time that she left him. And she was working in a nursing home. He just kept calling until he found her. So I can't imagine that not happening again. That if she was to leave, I think he would hound her until he found her. And I don't know what steps he would take to enslave her again in that way. That opinion-wise, I feel that she's in there. It's a dangerous situation for her should she leave. I think that's just an opinion again. Anybody that makes those types of threats, you have to wonder when will the threat actually be realized, because it would eventually a threat turns into reality. You have to be very careful when somebody says they're going to do something. chances are they may. Yeah, Bill says, seen how Guapo felt about his mother when he paid off her house. That young man was raised with love, and he really is a mature young man for his age and shows his heart. That's one example. Yeah, you know he loves his mother. Lisa says, hiya again, everyone. I was wondering what happened to you, Lisa. uh, Nobody talked about you while you were gone. They were waiting until you come back so they can unload on you again. Gee Louise, I won too. I could hear my name when I was in the can. I was yelling, I'm here, as they could hear me. Then I could type so fast when I got to putter again. Crazy Lady said, hello, Mr. Ray. Hi, Crazy Lady. Has anyone noticed her eyes when he speaks on Sundays? Sometimes she looks like she is in a trance. You know what I was wondering? Just for the heck, my daughter went through some things with her thyroid, and they had to, I think they radiated it to stop it from working. She was having problems. But essentially what they do is they make the thyroid inoperable. But she ended up with what they call Graves' disease. Her eyes kind of were pushed out, and they did operate on her. Now, this has been years ago, but it makes the eyes bulge. It looks like they can't hardly get their eyelids over their eyes when they're doing that. I just wonder if that's part of her problem with her eyes. And I'm just asking a question. I don't know. I don't mean any disrespect on things like that, but it is quite noticeable. I think more so than if you go back into the early days and you look at what she looked like 5, 6 years ago. Her looks have changed considerably. If you notice. Says, every time we say something about him, his minion people go see for themselves and he gets more views. Maybe we should tell them to not view him, cut his algorithms. We have to be careful here, and I'll tell you just a word of advice. If we were to do anything to go after his business, more than likely the court of law would look at it with a dim view because his livelihood comes from here. If we told him not to go back to his channel and look, we would be effectively attaching or attacking his livelihood. I don't know how far you can go with something like that, regardless of what he says or does. But he would certainly try to use it in a lawsuit. So I'm very careful. And he does go into they do take screenshots of stuff that's in our chat. And especially somebody like mine, early on, I think they probably did every one of them. I try to get more careful the longer I'm on. I'm already involved in it. I mean, I'm going to be in court, but there's no reason that that we don't want to get more people involved in it. I mean, if you get 50 or 100 people in there, can you imagine what kind of a thing that would go on for 100 years? And it costs nothing but money to be in court. It's not a free ride under any circumstance. Let's see. Road King said, Miyagi, yes, I have a dishwasher. The pre-wash setting is Boss Lady. I'm going to tell you, we have a dishwasher in our house. And in the evenings, though, my wife and I will get together. There's a lot of things that don't go in the dishwasher. And for quite a few years now, we do the dishes at night that are left over that we don't put in there. We do them together. Usually my wife will wash them and they dry them and put them away. But it's a time of the day where if there's any distractions, they're all gone because we're focusing on getting the dishes done, right? And nobody likes a boring job like doing dishes. But if you have a partner that you're doing them with, you can talk, and you'd be surprised that 10 or 15 minutes of washing dishes go like in a split second. It's gone. The other thing, it gives you an opportunity to talk over the things of the day or what you're going to do tomorrow. It brings things into focus. You're right next to each other. It's probably one of the best times of the day for you if you can get in the habit of it and think of it in a different light that you're not washing dishes. You're there to have a conversation with your partner, and it's not so bad then. And that's just my experience. Okay. Uh, yeah. Tulay says, "Oh, you're talking about the Google eyes." Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it isn't because of the thyroid problem, but I'm not sure. I know that when people have problems with thyroid, they usually end up with Graves' disease. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's pretty good. That's pretty much thinking about it. When people lie, they have certain things they go along with it. She may be staying focused because she has to lie, and that could very well be. Uh, if you ever noticed when uh, Jeremy wants to get a point across, but he wants her to say it, he leans back like this, and he'll look over, and you'll see his head bob just a little bit. And if it gets off course just the least little bit, he comes forward and he makes sure that he intervenes and he'll say something. But watch, his habits are the same thing over and over. Almost, it gets boring after a while. Oh, I think somebody asked me what they were suing me for. Just for the heck of it, content, I guess. My dollar amount would. Mm, 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 mm. Let me look back here, just make sure what you're talking about. Now I think it's spelled out in there, but I think it's somewhere in the million part. Um, I don't know what it's going to cost me before it's over. The legal expenses, I don't know what it'll end up being, but there's certainly going to be some there. As far as the dollar amount, uh, more than likely, I'll, anything that happens cost wise to me, I'll probably try to recover in some way. Um, like I say, once once that snowball started rolling, and I became part of it to that extent. Uh, once I'm involved in the fight, then I'm there till the end. One way or the other, we're going to get it settled. Um, the biggest thing with Jeremy, he could give it. He could care less whether he's going to make anything. My opinion is that, like he said, uh, his idea is to break people, bankrupt them if he can. He don't really care one way or the other whether he uh, wins it or not. And he's trying to spin that even as if it didn't make sense what he's doing. He's said it different times. I think he thinks he's only said it once or twice, but he does it multiple times through his different videos he's put up that he said why he does it. Yeah, it says, yeah, I'm getting sued because of my opinion. That's true. Well, part of it's truth. What it is, I stand between him and John and Michelle. Once I had stood up, then he noticed he was focused extremely on those two. And it's the same way with everybody else that is being sued. Once they stood up between his goals, then they became a target. And he takes a pot shot at him. And he's been taking shots at me for a while now. So we'll just see how it comes out. He thinks he's a big man. He reiterates his size all the time. uh, I'm surprised they don't put the camera down as low as they can and shoot like this so that they can make him look like a giant. It says he's 6'1", and I don't know how tall he really is. But if he thinks that's big, um, okay. You got to have a good laugh once in a while. You know, I have a neighbor. Their kid is, let's see, he turned 13 this year, I think it is, and he has to have a ID because people don't believe his age. He's I think he's 6'3" right now, and he loves sports, and they've actually put him in an older league, in the summertime because he can't play with the kids his age. He's just too big. He's not just tall and skinny. He's a big kid. He's very muscular. So he'd be laughing if he seen Jeremy. Jeremy tried to tell you he's a big guy. This kid next door to me, by the time he's 16, he'll probably be about 6'7" or 6'8", something like that, maybe bigger. I don't know. He's a big kid. Let's see. He posted a confidential letter today that he shouldn't have. Who is that? JP, you're right. We need to countersue for their opinions of our opinions. You're right. It's funny how uh, you can talk about things on here, and that you can tell when it hit home by he takes special attention and goes after certain things. This little thing that I put up and Lisa has, and Mike Volpe and Richard Luthman, uh, we all have talked about that deputy, and he actually dedicated. Jeremy has dedicated a couple shows to it. One of the things I've been wondering, uh, and hopefully things come out pretty good. Uh, this election is coming up out there. How is that going to work? I'm wondering if I mean, it's very possible the console could change very quickly in there with everything that's going on right now. And I don't know how the people are feeling over there in Otter Creek, but we're certainly going to find out next month. Uh, but if Michelle, if she gets in there, if she's going to be able to actually take a seat, or what is going to happen with uh, Jeremy? Is he going to try to set her up? I don't know. But I've been wondering about it, and I was wondering about clarification. So Michelle herself has some kind of protection so that she can't be set up. What can be done? I don't know legally all the parameters of keeping her safe in that situation. She can't. I mean, they're there trying to catch her at a meeting if they can, so they can get her run out of there. So it's hard for her to even get up there and try to make a speech or anything. So I just wonder how that's going to go over. But uh, certainly something to pray about, that we can that Michelle will be protected in some way during her endeavors while she tries to get on the console. Yeah, Lisa says she should hire security. I think you're right, Lisa. Something needs to be done so that she can take her seat should she get elected. That whole thing stinks when you're trying to volunteer for a job, uh, especially something that you're having to give so much of yourself, and you just wonder, how can a protection order keep you from taking a seat if you're elected to it? How can they do that? And is it legal? This thing was done from Ohio, being processed in Florida. Lisa says an off-duty police officer, and that'd be great if we could get one that would be willing to come in there. And it's not we don't know any of them, obviously. Maybe McIntyre. I don't know. I'm just wondering, these videos that were put up, what kind of influence it's going to have on Levy County. Because right now they have an officer being attacked through YouTube on somebody that has over 700,000 subscribers. That leaves that's something for that to happen. And I don't know how the sheriff's department would feel about that, or if they'd even say anything about it, quite frankly. But you can imagine the pressure that's going on right now. Yeah, maybe the county should go after him. My opinion is they probably should. Yeah, it says here, Janet proves he didn't fear for his life like he's been fabricating. No, he doesn't. If he was scared, he wouldn't be going by there for sure. My opinion. Yeah, it says here, one police officer tells the truth about Jeremy and he flies off the handle. I mean, he's dedicated 2 different shots to that subject. So, it hit home. It bothered him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got up there and spoke about it. I made a reference about a prune a few weeks back, and it showed up the next live. So I know his minions go back and tell him if I'm using different names or synonyms for what I'm talking about here. So I must be getting in his head for some reason. Yeah, it says his channel is SuTube. Yeah, I have to go along with that. By the way, this stuff about him suing, it goes back quite a ways. If I do a live next week, I'll post a couple of channels where people have talked about him years ago that have been around him, and I think it's him they're talking about. They call him out, and the description matched him. And they, as far as I know, they haven't been hammered. These are channels that haven't had anything on their channel for a couple of years, but it had to do with ComCon out there in California that was going on. And I got an idea that maybe it did have something to do with him, but I'm not sure. Because was he a gamer? I think back when he was at the that camp, leading the kids around, he wore a Superman suit. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it or not, but that's why I thought, well, maybe there's something to the fact about the ConCon that was out there in California, and about some people where they were threatened by Jeremy Hales because they posted a picture of him with one of the famous people from Concom out there, and he wanted to sue him for copyright. And they put up multiple videos over what he was trying to do, and said that that's what his thing is. He's litigious, and they don't have anything nice to say about him, that's for sure. But I didn't see any more about it. It only happened for that 1 year. But I'll let you guys go look at it. I think I'm not sure if there was a couple people here in this chat that have seen one of those videos. So leading the kids around, yeah, I know it's a scary one. Well, if you look, boy, I when he was in his Superman suit, I think he felt like he was Superman. Now, there's certain things when you get to a certain age you kind of leave behind. But I'm not saying that everybody goes to a con is that way. Because it's a dress up thing one time. But this deal here, he was at the camp dressed up like Superman running around. So it was comical to a certain extent. And I know we all have our heroes, comic heroes. We just do. And, years ago, but I went from looking at comic heroes to I loved cars, and I loved girls, obviously. when you get old enough to look at things that are real in life, your life changes. And fortunately, very fortunately, I met my wife while I was in high school, and we got married. We were kids when we met each other, and we're still kind of like kids today. So got lucky. Says there's a few videos of him doing that. Guapo's video will be out soon. I hope it is. The light of day will bring a lot of things around. Like I say, when I seen Guapo's channel the other day, I can see where Guapo does control his own channel and his destiny, and he may be influenced to a certain extent by others, but we all are. No matter how old we get or what we think we are, other people influence us, and it's most of the time it'll be a good thing rather than a bad thing. All we can do is hope that this is here. Milltown was in a Superman suit. I know it's on his channel, isn't it? I sometimes I think Dave is Super Dave is a kid at heart, but his smile when he smiles is genuine. You can't help but smile with him when he's doing stuff like that. When you look at Jeremy, I don't know of anything that is sincere about him. In my opinion, again, we got to protect ourselves. Let's see. Yeah, it says Guapo said it will be for everyone, not just members only. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I hope. It says here, oh yeah, somebody asked if Lisa would be on tonight. She said yes, she'll be on. So everybody that's out there, don't forget 2 Lisas tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central Standard, and give her anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to get there. Maybe what we ought to do tonight is take bets. It'll be between 9 and 9:15, and the one closest. We'll have to think of something that we can give ourselves for whoever is the closest. All right. And I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, it says here, I'll tell you what, it makes for MP being concerned about why he obsessed with their daughter. It was when I first seen the concentration when he started zeroing in on Michelle's daughter. There was a change in the whole thing, and part of it was it brought more viciousness into the channel. And when I had made some comments about uh, distancing from that subject, uh, it brought a lot of hate from Jeremy's minions. It was unimaginable. So Lisa says, "Hey, I've been on time." I was joking with you, Lisa. Where's John Cook? John, come on here and tell us. You keep track closer than I do. You, you and I were going to bet on when she got there, and I missed it by a minute. So, uh, we do joke around on Lisa's show, by the way. So anybody who wants to be entertained as well as informed, if you come over to Lisa's channel in the evenings, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. And on my part, sometimes I have to uh, call it quits early. I'm up so early in the morning, it's hard for me to stay up at night to that extent. That uh, she's been known to have some 4 to 6 hour shows on there. But like I say, it's entertaining, and the people talk back and forth and have a good time. And she gets involved with the giveaways on her channel. A lot of people go home with different types of rocks and crystals. And Gabe, my understanding is the other night Gabe was getting ready to give away some of her Funkos or whatever they were. Uh, so maybe Gabe will get on there and beat her on there before she gets on there. And if he does, maybe there'll be some giveaways there that'll be really be out there. We maybe we can get into talk to Gabe before she gets on there. That would be something. Uh, 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 Lisa says, "Ha." uh, One thing about it, what we did find out is Kendra is a good influence on Gabe. She helped him shop out there, and he he spent some pretty good bucks on there, is my understanding. So if you ever want to receive big gifts, Kendra's there to assist you and help you spend your money. And Gabe will tell you that. And yeah, Tully says, yeah, she did good. Oh, oh. Like I say, they have a lot of fun on there at night, and they have a lot of fun on Robbie's channel too. They joke back and forth. For all of you that haven't seen it, I don't do uh, collect rocks and stuff like that, or but I enjoy some of the interaction that I see on there. It's hard for me to get in on a subject where I don't know very little about it. It happens. What I enjoy most is when he's out there working on uh, his farm there. uh, I like it when they're redoing the ponds and fences and working out there. That kind of stuff just intrigues me. And the animals that are there, whether it's alligators or that raven that he's got, I think that's one of the greatest things in the world. Just having that stuff at hand, you'll never be bored in that environment. I think everybody around there is just always happy. Yeah. After midnight, that's when the fun starts, is my understanding. Isn't it something? You're one of the biggest fans, and they wait till you're gone before they have fun. Now, where is that, Lisa? Why do you do that to me? She says, and I don't bore. Yeah, when she's see what I do though. Here's what I do. I get tired. I go ahead and get out of the thing. I go to bed, and then the next morning when I'm having my cup of coffee, I put it back on there and I put my little earphones on and I go through the rest of the chat. I don't I don't miss out on anything. It's just I can't participate in it if I'm not there. Carol says, "I'm with you, Ray." uh, Ruth says, "Yeah, me too." Uh, Catherine says she has to drink coffee to stay awake. Ray, we wait for you to leave, then the adults only contest starts. I kind of wondered about that. uh, Lisa says she tries to watch her tongue when Ray is around. Oh, well, remember, my feelings are, I don't like a lot of swearing, but in real truth, the swearing is a way of releasing pressure, and the health officials will tell you it's probably good for you to do it in such a manner. And the words they use aren't that bad. They're not using the Lord's name in vain on their channel, or wearing the Lord's name out in the wrong way. So, and none of them swear like Slug did when he was around there. Slug, boy, that was hard to be around him because he didn't make sense. When you get to the point where it overwhelms your sentence and it's said without, it scares the heck out of you. Oh yeah, I see. At least you're telling all my secrets now. uh, yeah, respect was part of my channel here, wasn't it? We were supposed to talk about respect. Just for the heck of it, I started out explaining to you about channels, and it's kind of unwritten rules, what people expect. And one of the hardest things, and Lisa will tell you, is trying to watch the chat and talk on here. With me, I'm just a one-man show on here, but I rely on the chat to keep things going. But I don't see everything that's in there, and people are kind of used to it. But I know she takes a lot of heat because they get a little upset with her because she's not answering things that seem very important. And she does try to get to it, and she does a good job of it. And when she's talking, it's hard to look at this and try to keep track of it while you're talking. That's all. Not a big deal, but it's part of the show. And at least when you get on there and you get after her about it, eventually when she picks it up, she'll come back in and say, "Oh, okay, I get it. I'll fix it," or whatever. And she receives dozens of emails while she's on there. So you can imagine trying to get in there and look at your emails and look at this and try to keep the conversation going of whatever you talked with. How many people can actually get on a channel like this and talk for hours? How do you come up with something to talk about? And it's very hard. You start going over and over the same things sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, each channel has their own personality to, and what I tried to get across was that even though it seemed like a blowout between the three of us there that over my channel about how I felt about David R. And it should have never got to the point where everybody in that follows all of our three channels would have to get involved to a certain extent. And there was a few people that left because they were upset with me, or left other channels because they were upset with them channels, and probably would have been better off if I hadn't even put that up there that time. I haven't changed my mind about David R. So I don't want any of you to think that I'm backtracking out that. If he ever makes his amends and says, okay, here's a few things that I may have overstepped, because I feel he did. He overstepped. And it gives a chance for a regular conversation, uh, so that he can clear the air between himself and another channel. I'll be fine with him. And I don't have a problem whatsoever of him being on these other channels and giving gifts. If they're meant with earnest and big hearts, I think that's great. It's a great deal. The channels give him a little bit of leeway, and there's everybody in different channels are given a certain amount of leeway, whether it be their opinions may be a little overbearing sometimes, or they get carried away. But it's one of those things, you either accept or you don't. And you don't have to accept anything you don't want to. You don't have to listen to that part. You can just go ahead and leave. And my advice is, some time ago was, if you don't like it, leave. I didn't know people were going to get so mad at me that left, though. I still haven't figured out exactly what it was that Tisa got so mad at me. She won't want to come on my channel, but she has that right not to. She does, and I tried to mend it, and I can't. Life goes on. It doesn't change her from. She is a good person, and she goes on the other channel. She's very well appreciated. She's welcome back anytime she wants to come in and make remarks on here. I wish she would have just said, "Ray, you're an ass," or whatever it is, rather than take leave. But that's fine. But for all reality, there is no real hard feelings between the three of us out there. Uh, we're just different. All three of us are. There's nothing, as far as Super Dave or Guapo or myself, we just have different opinions on our channels. I'm not in their age bracket, and I can't go backwards. I'll never be young again. Someday they're going to be my age, though, so I'm a step ahead of them on that. Lee says she loves Tisa. I did too. I don't have any hard feelings about it. I just wish that it hadn't happened, because I don't have that way of wanting somebody to be upset that uh, they can't enjoy themselves, because I know she has good friends right here in this chat, you know, and I know she's well liked because on the other channels she's the kind of the life of the party in most ways. So anyway, like I say, it happens. Whatever happened. That's all. But we'll go back to this respect of the channels, or unwritten rules, or just end up. Let's say you get into a little argument with somebody. Uh, Say your piece, and then if it continues, just leave for a while. Go catch your breath somewhere else. You can always come back later, or you can listen and not. You don't necessarily have to be in there and fight back. You can say, "Yeah, the heck with it. It's not worth it tonight. Let's let a sleeping dog lie and come back later." It's a better way of handling it. And I'm not always a bright beacon on laying back. When it first come to light that what David pulled one night, I was upset with him because I knew he was in the wrong, and I haven't changed that in absolutely at all. I still feel he was wrong that when he pulled that, and he's the only one that can rectify it. That's up to him. That's in his bracket. And if he's too embarrassed, or if he feels so much in his way, I feel sorry for him. All of us, in some time in our life, makes a mistake, and you have to go back and pay for the price for it. That's all. No big deal. JP says, Melody, it's not just Super Dave that he did that. I feel bad for Super Dave because it seems he has plunged into a dark place after all, and then getting served. It was a double whammy for him. And I do feel bad for him. Having to fight against, the odds, and it really isn't odds, but Jeremy can be overwhelming. And remember, Dave got attacked by Jeremy. Uh, I think it was over a year ago, and took his channel down for quite a while. So, uh, and he tried to fight back at the time. It's not that he didn't try to stick up for himself, because he did, and it happened. So he's one of the casualties of the fight that's going on with Jeremy. Hopefully, I don't, or have. Hopefully, I haven't added to it for him. I don't want to be held in that light. I can tell you this: no matter who you are, you've said something in the heat of time that you regret later on in life, and you wish you could have handled it. Uh, and that's just the way it is. I could go over and over it, and I can't change it. It says, yeah, Miyagi says, unfortunately, he lost my respect when he talked about Lisa. Yeah, I think we're talking about David R. I know Miyagi holds the same feelings that I do about that particular subject. Yeah, I understand, JP, but uh, at the time, the things that they said, like I say, was in the heat of the day. Uh, there's, the mindset of a lot of people, and you have to get used to it as you get older. Older people, because they're a different generation than the younger ones aren't really wanting to listen to you. Uh, and your mind gets fogged as you get older. That's a truthism. You can't help it. And sometimes you lose your immediate memory. Things that you can say a sentence and then a second later forget the sentence and say it all over again. That's part of old age. I know they call it senility, but that's just the way that happens in older age. And if you pull back from life in older age, you sink very quickly and you become self-centered to yourself. That happens. Something like this can bring you out of it if you're willing to participate, whether it be on a channel or with a neighbor, talking to a neighbor, doing things where you're socially active. That keeps you from sinking into that dark hole. And quite frankly, it'll shorten your life if you allow yourself to do that. Now, when I was a kid, we loved older folks. Now, think back then, we didn't have TV, so we didn't have entertainment at our hands. And the older people had stories that we wanted to listen to. Told us about things that happened on farms, and the city life that they had enjoyed through life, or just a lot of things that were interesting to us, because there was nothing else. We could, if we had enough money in our pocket, usually it was about a dime to go to the show. We could go to the movies, and most movies back then were hammy. Of course, we didn't know it. We enjoyed them. And cartoons. We all knew every cartoon that was out there. That was life for us back then. And today is completely different. It's faster moving. And I'm not saying that just because I'm old. It is. It's a faster moving society today. And we've forgotten how to interact with each other. It's very hard for an older person to talk to a younger person because we really know very little about this internet. As much as we'd like to think we know everything, we don't. And the young kids know a huge amount, more than we ever did at their age. But it has to do with things like this. And that's why it's so hard to talk between generations sometimes. The other thing is, when you're young, you're fast moving. As you get older, you slow down. And the two don't mix very well, because one is way ahead of you and thinking, the other one's thinking what you said, 10 minutes ago. That's still in their mind. The other one's thinking ahead of what you're going to say. When you grew up the way I did with my grandmother in the house, it was her house. Then our style was whatever it was with her, and that's just the way it is. JP says maybe they should take a lesson from us old folks. Work would be a nicer place. I'm 69 and never spoke about an elder that way. Yeah, I didn't talk about older people either. It's hard for me to understand it a lot of times. Uh, it hurts to think that the younger generations have those feelings about a person when they get older, because it's not really reciprocated. Most people that are my age enjoy watching younger people. It keeps us active and young. My neighbor over here that they're raising their grandson, and he's just a go getter. He's one heck of a kid, and their children treat us with respect. I don't think we would hold their attention very long out in the yard if we were getting into more than a 10-minute conversation. Like I say, it was different when I was growing up because we didn't have TV or the things that we've got today. Uh, People don't take the time to stop and enjoy life is the problem, and we're all part of it. We all have our place, I'm sure. Let's see. Mental health is at an all-time crisis. We are not biologically designed to have so much information so fast. That's probably true, strictly. Uh, Ray, don't cough on cam. You will be accused of having a smoker's cough. I used to smoke, but I can't help the coughing. The COPD I have, part of it's emphysema, and part of it is in my lower lung on my left side, I have asbestosis, and part of it's calcified. So that's part of it. And on my right side, people with COPD, sometimes their diaphragm will be paralyzed. And the one on actually, my right side here, it is paralyzed and something is pushing it up. And they don't know what actually it is. I haven't went through all the testing for it. And because of how old I am, I'm at the point where I don't want to take the chance on having somebody open me up or look. It's I'm able to get around and do the things I want, and why I don't know what would happen to me once I do that. It was bad enough when I went through a couple back operations and things like that. Uh, I'm at the point where I just want to enjoy life, and what comes comes. If something major comes up, I'm just going to let it happen. There's not a lot more out there. I mean, the only thing that actually keeps me going more than anything else, quite frankly, is my wife. I love my wife, and that makes life worth living. If that makes sense to you, I hope it does. But there comes a time where your day is coming, and it's going to happen. And part of life is your spirit's going to get returned to the Lord, and when you're ready for it, you'll know when that time comes. When my son passed away, he was ready. I was there. I mean, and to this day, the empty spot is there. He is a born again Christian, and so I feel that I'm going to see him again. It's just it wasn't as hard to understand what happened. I try to not get melodramatic or something. JP says we had one TV and my father made us watch news every night. One show a week was a treat for us. Yeah. I can remember they used to have, I think it was Friday night fights on there. And I even remember Rocky Marciano fighting on there. I come from a family that liked to box. My dad was a fleet champion, a middleweight. And my uncle, my mom's brother, was a heavyweight contender at one time, way back. I mean, his was back in the 30s, but you can imagine the big thing for the week was listening to those fights and cheering for somebody like Rocky Marciano. I remembered a lot of those old greats. And by the way, uh, George Foreman has passed away, and he was I loved watching him box. He wasn't a boxer like Muhammad Ali, but he was just tough, just plain tough. And when he hit somebody, they either hit the deck or wish they would have. Oh, yeah, I mean, he won the heavyweight title back when he was in his 40s, and that's saying a lot. George Foreman, when you seen him in the ring, he looked mean. When he was young, he was in his 20s when I first saw him. Well, I think he was younger than that when he won the Olympics down there. But uh, as time went on, he was always had a big smile on his face, and I think he was better liked than he ever had been in the ring. People respected him when he was a heavyweight boxer, but I think they had a lot of respect for him when he was out promoting the George Foreman Grill. Let's see. Just looking says it's very easy to set and judge others behind these screens in a way we are untouchable, or give people the perspective they are. They give this that gives unleashed power to say whatever thing they want. Some people, yeah, there are a lot of good people on the internet, as far as channels and stuff out there. But it does unleash something that never was before. One of the problems we have with today's society is the uh, social media of today gives way to what we call friends that we've never met. And if you haven't had personal interaction, it's hard to understand what a friend really is. My understanding and upbringing for a friend was much different than what today's understanding would be. Uh, says no, I'm not. I'm talking in general. Okay. Uh, Dan says he loved watching Big George. He was pretty well liked. Just looking, said when I read comments in chat, some of the things people say makes my mouth drop. So nasty and so untrue. Yeah, it's a different world. Uh, and we're looking at stuff out here. There is some of those deep channels, I don't know, dark channels or whatever they call them, that really gets out of hand. But matter of fact, I didn't even know they existed until there was different people had come on and talked about these other venues out there for people that have social interaction with each other, and they really get carried away. I guess they don't care that the Lord's watching them. Is all I can say. Oh, so, let's see. Stacy says, just looking. Uh, I see what you're saying, but there's a difference between truth telling and blatantly being a bully and harassing. Yeah. Remember when they used to have live TV after a few bloopers? They stopped that. Yeah, they did kind of stop it. What they did then is had a special show that says bloopers, and that got more people looking at uh, than the show itself. It's nice to know that people are real when they make a mistake, and you kind of catch it. You don't have to call them out on it. A lot of times they know when they made a mistake, but sometimes when they go back and look and they say, "Oh, did I really say that? Did I do that? I don't remember doing that." They let mouth run away too far, or they said something they didn't mean to. The word got twisted, or what I tell you, what bothers me more than anything is, let's say you come on here with an intent, and somebody else picks up on it and twists it so that it's actually the meaning comes out opposite. They'll either leave a word out or turn them around or do something, and it makes you look bad. And you go back and look at it, and you say, "Well, I didn't say that. Where did they get that at?" But that happens a lot. It does. Well, I think we're wound down, and I've been on here almost 2.5 hours. Uh, Everybody, I think we'll call it a day. Road King, I need to get over there and look at your latest on your channel. I will go over there and look at it. Uh, one of the biggest things that I've seen so far in in the last 6 months or a year is when Road King come along and started that show up. I think that I really think he may get famous. He could actually have a TV show for his own. He is that talented. So any of you that haven't seen Road King, go over there and watch his channel for me. Oh, I love it. Oh, JP, yeah, I have to go to. Now, see, Jan is one apparently, or JP, I think somewhere down the line. I don't remember doing it, but I must have put her off my channel for a while. And she come back and asked me to put her back on, and I was trying to figure out when did I do that or how did I do that. But anyway, I found her in there. I brought her back, and she's been loyal about coming in and watching the different channels. So kudos for her for letting me know that she was not able to get on here, because I sure apologize for that. Let's see. Georgia, see everyone later. Just look, absolutely, I love Ray's wisdom. Thanks, Stacy. See you, Ray. Be well. That's from Dan. Road King, I have gone on for a week. I was gone for a week, and I have some catching up on a few things. Okay, Miyagi, Road King, and the stories are awesome. Yes, they are, Miyagi. Miyagi, I love your channel, and you know that I'm a big fan. So don't ever let somebody kid you that I don't watch, because I do. Peculiar Optics, I love that spell check. I think it knows what I'm trying to say, but I get to type it away on here, and I look at that thing. It does help me with my spelling when it's in tune with what I'm doing, though. Debbie says, "Ta-ta, Ray. Hope you and your wife have a wonderful night. God bless us all." Yes, I go along with that. Thank John for the ta-ta there, Debbie, because he started something we all love, and that is how to say goodbye. Aussie said, "Good morning, everybody." I didn't even realize it was morning over there, but man. Let's see. Road King, your content has been excellent. Also, nice and calm, funny, smart, and entertaining. I agree with that. Just looking, you're right. The moment that I started listening, I knew that channel was going to grow and be a big hit. And I guarantee you that it is going somewhere. I guarantee you that. Linda says, "See you later, Ray." See you, Linda. See you tonight, Ray. Road King needs to sell his voice recordings. That's true. Some people have a way of talking that puts you in a comfort zone, and it's very entertaining. It's right up there with. There's some singers that are so good, they can sing the phone book and have a hit. Funny Sonny says she just got here. She talked to her brother for 2 hours. Oh, that's all right. So, I'll probably see you on Lisa's tonight, Funny Sonny. And mostly we just kind of BS back and forth today. But you can always come back in the show and look at it later. The chat should be on there pretty quick after I get off. So, oh yeah, Miyagi. Peculiar Optics says, uh, make a video about the scary, dangerous highway. You know, when I heard that description, and it's not the first time I've heard him talk about it that way, and I'm thinking they're up there on that highway a lot, and even used the intersection as a gathering place one day. You remember when that was when they talked to Wes right there, not too far from that intersection right there on that corner? I mean, if the highway's dangerous, what's the corner? Because the corner is where the accidents happen. But just to let you know, it's like an oxymoron. They don't mind using it any other time. Uh, they're not afraid to go out there when they have to go somewhere. But if they were really afraid of John and Michelle, which I'd like to see them take a lie detector test about that. Wouldn't that be something? Oh well, my opinion. My opinion. Oh, let's see. Ta-ta. See you tonight on Two Lees. John Cook. Well, John, we owe you that ta-ta. You're the one to come up with that, at least for the rest of us around here. G. Louise says, see you later, Ray. Hugging your beautiful wife and kiss her cheek. Well, I will. I'll do that. Road King, I've tried to go to your channel, but there are several other channels with a similar name. How can I find your channel? uh, it might be. I'm not. I don't have my hands. I don't have his thing here. There, Road King just put it up there behind his name, so you'll be able to get it. William said, "I bone love your great," and it was missing the rest. But that funny Sonny, go down there, right down below what you've said here, and Road King's in the channel there, and he put his YouTube address on there, so that you can get it. So it's it's youtube.com/ at Road King 3178 question mark. I think it's SL and then the equal mark. So, but anyway, anybody wants to get the Road King, it's right behind his name up here under Road King, right next to it. So go to it. Oh, I almost forgot to give a shout out to Tom Collins, and I'm sorry, Tom, I didn't get to if you're listening today. I enjoy your channel. He's a young man that is really going places, and he's busy building the channel up. He's was raised there in Otter Creek, lives right down the road from the city. He gets blamed a lot of times for not being a citizen in Otter Creek itself, but he's right down the road. So, and he's over there most of the time. So, they say that out of jealousy sometimes. I think they like to pick on him because Jeremy don't like him for whatever reasons, but that's on Jeremy. If he doesn't know a good person when he sees him. Anybody that could vet somebody like Wes that was got in a shootout with the police and stuff. This is my opinion, but anybody that can vet somebody like that uh, should be ashamed about talking about somebody like Thomas, who is good-hearted and tries to help the citizens of Otter Creek out at every chance he gets, and very respectful of everybody he meets on the. So, hey, I guess everybody has their own way of treating each other, but I really think Thomas is a good man, and I stand behind him. It's just how I feel about it. The mother bird says, "See everybody tonight. Driving love, yeah, Papa Ray." Well, thank you, mother of birds. Thank you very much. Let's see. Thomas is a sweetheart and doesn't deserve what they say about him. I agree with you, Cat Lady. I absolutely do. Road King says TC is a respectful young man. Yep. Yep. Miyagi says, ooh, I don't know. All right, everybody. One last goodbye. I want to thank everybody for coming on here. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. I hope I mentioned your name at least once during here tonight. And don't forget Lisa tonight. She'll have interesting subjects, I'm sure. So see you all later. And thank you for showing up.